proudest day, and the proudest time, and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast. The 2025 season is continuing at a strong pace, Connor, and a really busy weekend last weekend.
Yeah, busy both at home and internationally as well, Kevin.
Yeah, the latest round of the ERC Rally di Roma, and then as well closer to home, the Triton Shires and Ravensrock, and then the penultimate round of the Northern Ireland Championship, the Loughgall Stages. But I suppose we should start maybe with the ERC. Probably the overall result for John and Shane doesn't look so impressive, but when you look at their times, especially on the Sunday, they have to take a lot of heart from a really, really strong Sunday they had.
Definitely, like some really good results. And I suppose one of the things is, particularly with the ERC, you kind of have to separate the local drivers out from the regular ERC crews, because you know the ERC is renowned. When it goes to each country, you have your local specialists. It's a bit like, you know, when you know international crews come to Ireland, they're up against the local talent. But with the ERC, once you remove them, then you're looking at the regulars like Matt Salzberg and John and what do you call it, the other drivers there, and then that's when you really get to see what the times are like. And yeah, like some impressive once they got the setup sorted. I think they did struggle on the Friday and the Saturday, but as you say, Sunday really did come to them.
That's for sure. And then in Rally 3 and Rally 4, we the podiums with KCJ Coleman and Craig Rahill too, who we're going to catch up with shortly. And then Keelan Grogan and Aoife Raftery had really strong runs as well too.
Yeah, and again, great to see, you know, some of our academy students and academy graduates, you know, putting in some good times and good runs and some really picking up some great experience, you know, and the fact that they're going out now to these events and they're making it to the finish ramp, you know, and setting good times on the way as well. So it's not just also runs, they actually are being competitive, which is
they're in there with in the battle, there's no doubt about it. Like, as you know, as we're going to hear from Craig, he was only like a hair's breadth away from finishing second too, and I suppose we'd better give an honorary Irishman, Ewan Lloyd, now at this stage as well too. Like he was right up there too. You know, we've seen that the pace that himself and Craig and Keelan and all those guys were doing last year, and they've just took it on and carried it into the ERC.
Yeah, and it is, and they're up a level. You know that they're looking at what's going on around them, and they're meeting or rising to the challenge of that. And again, even at their level, they have those local experts, and you know they're up against the local Italians who are only going to do that event and aren't doing the rest of the ERC. But you know they are paying attention to what's going on with those drivers, and they are looking to be competitive against them as well as their own ERC regulars.
That's for sure. And then you know KCJ out there in the Rally 3. You know we've been champion in the Rally 3, and he just loves the car as well too, you know, and coming away there with a podium as well. He may have competed in Italy a couple of times before, but it shows really strong pace as well too.
That's it. Like in a really, like KCJ only has a handful of international events under his belt. He's still fairly, you know, new to the international scene and making really good headway.
Yeah, and I suppose then as well too in this episode we'll also talk as the Rally 4 from Ravensrock. Those guys had a fantastic battle, but we'll talk more about that later. And then Northern Ireland Championship, I was up at Loughgall and I caught up with the top three there as well too. But again, we'll hear more about that later. But yeah, Connor, I think we should start off by talking about catching up with the crews we spoke to from the ERC.
Absolutely. Let's hear from Aoife, KCJ and from Craig. So, Craig, very hot weekend in Rome. How was it for you?
Yeah, definitely. It was one of the most challenging events I've definitely done to date. It's between the temperatures, the long stages, and just how technical they were. It was such a demanding event. Just from the whole week, from Monday to Sunday, was just a long week, and yeah, it was very tough, but I suppose it's you kind of see why you do all the hard work and preparation beforehand, and it's thanks to the academy you kind of see how important it is to deal with the heat and to have a plan in place to deal with it. It's just it pays off in them big events for sure.
And Aoife, talking of plans, what was yours going into the weekend in Rome?
Yeah, of course. I think I expected it to be a tough rally and challenging stages, and I knew for myself I was just to build on the pace and try and reduce the seconds per kilometer to the fastest in the class, and that's what we did, and we worked on that over the weekend. So yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough weekend with the heat and with the stages, but yeah, that was the goal, and that's what we worked on over the weekend.
And KCJ, like you've done a couple of international events, but not too many under your belt. But how did you find the heat and the temperatures out there in Italy?
Yeah, I suppose like Aoife and Craig said there, everyone knew it was going to be extremely hot. So I suppose once you're prepared for it, hey, it's not the worst. I suppose you just have to get on with it, and we're lucky to be there. So yeah, it wasn't the worst, to be fair.
And is there anything you can do in preparation for it? Like as seen was Oliver Solberg said about sitting in the sauna with the rally suit on. Do you just go to that kind of extremes? Maybe Casey, you take that one.
Yeah, I suppose we'd be getting some funny looks, I'd say, in the sauna in my local gym if I landed in the rally suit, I suppose. But no, I did. I suppose I spent a lot of time in the sauna. I suppose the 2 weeks before the rally. But I mean, like that, it's different when you're driving a rally car in anger down a stage in that kind of heat to sitting in the sauna chatting to lads. But oh yeah, I mean, it's bound to help, I suppose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig, I suppose, like, how are you finding the ERC program? Like, you're going from event to event, and they're all very different in characteristic. How long does it take you? And you don't have much time to adjust each weekend.
Yeah, that's the beauty of that championship. It's just every event is something new and something different. It's kind of nearly back to square one every round. Like I kind of thought from Spain, like that we'd have a good setup in the car and that would kind of work well. And when we went to Rome, but when we put that setup in for the first run of testing, it just didn't really work at all on the roads. It's just, I suppose it's kind of it's a bit more bumpier in nature, and there isn't as much grip in the tire, and probably just the temperatures as well. Maybe that's why there wasn't as much grip. But yeah, I suppose it's just you have to adapt as well as you can on event to make the best out of it. It's not easy now, but yeah, it's tough going.
And what sort of guidance or help are you getting with that setup? Especially when you're going to events that you don't have previous experience on, Craig.
Well, I suppose this event, I was lucky enough I joined an Italian team, so they kind of had a bit of local knowledge, so I was able to kind of take on their expertise to kind of adapt what I had in Spain and adapt what they've been using, so kind of combine them together, and it seemed to work all right. Yeah, they have engineers and all that there, and it's good to work with them. You learn a lot. Like it plays a big part.
And how do you find that? Sorry, Craig. How do you find that working with like an Italian team, engineers? Is there language barriers there, or is that something that's easy enough to overcome?
No, in fairness, I was kind of half worried of that, but no, in fairness, the whole team, every one of them had great English, and they were very welcoming, and yeah, no, there was no issues there at all. They were very, very good.
And they were able to dial in what you were asking for as well. They were able to understand what the kind of the feedback you wanted from the car.
Yeah. Like I just suppose once you done your test run, you just come back in and kind of explain what the car was doing and what you'd like it to do, and they gave recommendations, and you just try them out, and some works and some doesn't. It was just trial and error, and yeah, most of the things they did recommend seemed to work, so it was good now, yeah.
And Aoife, for yourself, you're competing in the States and then coming back to Europe. Is there much of an adjustment process for you there? Are you able to kind of get up to speed quite quickly, or is there a little bit of settling in and I suppose recalibrating yourself for the different championships?
Yeah, look, it's incredible that I'm able to compete in both championships, but yeah, well, look, when you're in the European Championship, I think you're at kind of the highest level there is, especially in the Rally 4 category, and you're racing against the fastest guys there. So in that term, yeah, you I'm lucky enough I did it last year and to come back and I understand the events and the process of everything, but the level and the style of roads is, they're the best that you can get out there. And then getting to go to the US and rally over there, it's completely different. I suppose, I've only done 2 events, but it was a different scene over there, but still their enthusiasm for it is just as big. And driving a different car, driving the Dirtfish Subaru WRX was a new challenge, but it was good. We were driving 4-wheel drive there. It was quite a big car, very different handling to the Rally 4. So that was just something to get used to. And then of course, the different co-driver over there as well. So there's a few simple, not simple, but a few main things to kind of adjust when you go over that side.
And KCJ, for yourself with the Rally 3, I suppose, where are you benchmarking yourself when I suppose, who are you picking out, or are you picking out some of is it the local guys or more the ERC regulars to kind of see how you're comparing with?
Yeah, sure. I suppose there's a big mix in the Rally 3 class. Like there's some guys there that are really fast, and then there's a couple of gentleman drivers, and then there's some in the middle as well. So, yeah, obviously, you want to be the fastest. You want to try and benchmark yourself off the guys at the top. But like some of the guys at the top are driving a Rally 3 car with 3 or 4 years. And have experience in the European Championship and stuff. So, yeah, I suppose somewhere in the middle, like this year I just want to build a pace, learn the rallies. Obviously, I didn't have much gravel experience for the last 2 rallies, so I just want to get the finish in every rally and build. So and get the confidence. But obviously, you are benchmarking yourself off some of the best in Europe, so that's always going to bring you on either way, really. So.
Because we've been raving about the Rally 3 cars, and you've about a year's experience on them. They are a phenomenal car, aren't they? And they're allowing you to go and compete in Europe. You can come home and do a rally in them. They are such a flexible car from that point of view.
Yeah, they're a super car, 100%. I really enjoy driving it. Obviously, coming from the Rally 4, say middle of last year into the Rally 3. Obviously, I've done a couple of rallies in a Rally 2 as well, but. The Rally 3 is a class car. Yeah, I really enjoy driving it, and it's a shame there's not more in Ireland, to be fair, because like they're a brilliant car in Ireland with the nature of the stages, the bumpy tarmac and the narrow, tight and twisty stuff. Like if you look at the times in Italy the weekend, like the Rally 4s and Rally 3s are pretty similar, because like a Rally 4 car is much lighter, similar power, similar engine, and like there's no struggle for grip. Like so, the 4-wheel drive doesn't really help as much compared to the front wheel drive. Mm-hmm. But 100%. I really, really do enjoy driving the Rally 3, and obviously the 4-wheel drive, especially on gravel, is class.
Yes, big throws in.
Yeah, big slides, and flat out, it's class.
And Craig, with tires and that, and obviously you're restricted as to the number of tires you can run, etc. But I suppose, what's it like getting to grips with your tire choice and choosing the right tires, especially when you are going to events that are very different one from the other? You're already talking about how different the car setup was, but what is the challenges then you're facing around the tire choice?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the biggest challenges of the weekend, because we only had the option of a Hankook medium or soft or wet, so it was kind of like there was a lot of tire management had to be done. So you just kind of had to have a plan in place before to try and leave yourself with the best tires for the long stages, because that's kind of the stages where you're going to make up your time. But I kind of met an inexperienced on the first long stage. I just went flat out from the word go, and about 10k in, I had no tyre left, and I had to do 25k with gone off tyres. So I wasn't learning that you're better off just being as smooth as possible, and just not hurting the tyres too much, and try and make them last for the whole stage. And I suppose then that's why on the second run round we had quite a good run and good time over it. That probably got us up where we finished. It was just all about tyre management and brake management. That on them long stages, if you're losing at the start, you might gain on the end of the stage. Like it's just it's completely different. It's a new experience, and yeah, it's class.
And the asphalt out there in Italy, how abrasive is it for the tires, or was it heat? Was that more the problem maybe?
A mixture of both, yeah. I suppose the heat, the 35 degrees, and then also how technical the stages are. Like I think in that 35 kilometer stage, I think my longest distance might have been 150 or 200 max maybe. So you're full time just from corner to corner to corner, and the tires never get a break at all. So it's really hard to manage them, but it has to be done. You have to try your best to manage them.
Because like Aoife, like then whenever you hear that, like you know, with corner after corner, that's relentless from both sides of the car. Like you know, Hannah's busy, you're busy, and like there's no chance to catch your breath, and especially in that heat, it must be exhausting as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's hard job for the drivers, but the co-drivers too. And I know Hannah's voice started to go on Saturday. So yeah, look, it's not an easy job for anybody in the car. And yeah, there's the stages. They were relentless. They're tough. There's so much driving involved in those stages over there, and you could be in a very technical, twisty section, then it opens quite fast. So you have to be able to adjust as well to the rhythm changes quite quickly. But yeah, no, it's as the guys were saying, we're very lucky to get to a rally on stages like that, and especially the first one outside the Coliseum. That was pretty special, and I think we'll all remember that for a long time.
Yeah, like that must be a pinch yourself moment, to be lining up, sitting on the start line of that and look round and see the Coliseum, sitting, oh my God, I'm sitting here in the middle of Rome ready to go with that. It must be one of those ones you're going to remember for many years to come.
Yeah, it is quite special, and I think like a lot of the time when you're at the rally, you're so involved in it and you're so focused that things just pass by you quite quickly, and I don't know if you take it for granted, but it just goes by so quickly. And you actually have to remember like how special it is to be rallying in such cool places.
Yeah, because you've been very lucky. Rallying has allowed you to travel the world, and you've seen some epic sights. And like as you say, you probably not realising now, but probably in 10, 15 years, you'll look back and go, "Wow."
Yeah, for sure. I think there'll be a lot of memories to look back on then. But yeah, no, we're very, very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And KCJ, myself and Kevin have spoken to Eamon and Connor about the JWRC and the amount of work and prep that goes in, especially around the video work for the DVD work. Like, is that the same? Are you seeing that at the same at the ERC level? Is there really a lot of time spent on going over and over and over the stages?
Yeah, I would say so. To be fair, I mean, like you kind of have to put that kind of effort in, I suppose. Really, don't you? Enough time and effort and money, of course, goes into the whole thing. So, like, obviously, myself and Killian have to hold up our side of it as well and put in the best amount of work we can, whether it be videos or from Killian's side, recce plans and stuff like that before the rally, and the work you put in before. It obviously makes a big difference. Yeah, to be fair.
And when you're going back over your notes against the DVD and stuff, are you still making changes then, late at night before the next day, and you still kind of tweaking and perfecting, or are you fairly happy at that stage that it's just a revision really rather than adjustments?
Yeah, well, probably mostly revision. I suppose like there's going to be some small tweaks and stuff during the rally, like always, I suppose, a little bit, but I try not to go too mad, like, because if you made a note in the recce, like, you're not going to totally change your mind looking at the video. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, fair enough if it's after maybe the first loop of stages and you come in and you look at the video and say, oh my God, that was totally wrong, and then I'd make a big change like that. But in the video, really, it's more revision, and I wouldn't say learning the stage, like, because it's probably not good to learn the stage either, but to have it as fresh as possible in the mind, I suppose.
And Craig, with your own notes, are you finding now that maybe is there any change in your approach to your notes, or is there any more working into your notes than maybe a year ago when you're seeing the pace now that the ERC's at?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It kind of you're full time just adapting your notes to suit the stages. Like, I suppose it's kind of a different mindset out at these events. It's not nearly to take every corner as hard as you can. Is to get the keywords in to set yourself up for the next corner. Like, if it's a fast corner into a slow corner, there's no point going real wide on the fast corner and missing your exit for the slow corner. So I suppose it's just to have all that key detail in your notes to maximise how much speed you can carry It kind of feels wrong sometimes. You're taking a corner real slow, but it makes up for it when you're carrying more speed out of the next corner. But yeah, definitely it's a lot of work goes into the notes, and we're constantly adding in new terms every rally to try and just get that extra tenth per kilometer or whatever it is. It's vital.
And obviously, if you're rallying at home, you can buy a set of notes to start a rally with. But at the ERC level, are you starting from a clean book and making all your own notes?
Yeah, and even last year in Ireland, that's what we're at as well, to try and kind of prepare ourselves for that. And then you only have a two pass recce out at the ERC event, so you have to get it right fairly on the first pass nearly. And then there's a lot, as Casey was saying, a lot of DVD work goes in to just perfect them and make sure everything's right.
So the first note, the first pass is basically you writing the notes or calling them, and then the second pass is Connor just checking them basically, and then you have to be 95% there with them.
Yeah, I always try my best to have as much detail in on the first pass as well as I can, because at least then when you're doing your second pass, you're not full time changing the whole time. You'd want them more or less as good as you can get them. You're only trying to add in an odd wee things here and there, like.
And then you said earlier, about the MI Academy. They help you prepare for this. Like, is it, what kind of preparation do they give you for, say, the likes of Rome there at the weekend? Is it the hot weather, or what? What's the thought process?
Yeah, definitely from loads of different aspects. You see why your fitness and everything is so important for them long events, like you to follow the academy's fitness schedule and all that, and the weeks leading into it is so important to make sure you have the energy and the fitness to last till Sunday evening when you're going into a power stage with only 2.1 seconds of a cushion behind you. You need to have the energy and fitness to still go max attack on the last stage of a long weekend. And then I suppose is to have a plan in place for your nutrition and hydration. The hydration is such a key part out there when you're sweating so much. You just need to be getting the electrolytes in and have a plan in place, because otherwise you're going to be dehydrated and lightheaded, and you don't want that going into a stage.
That's for sure. And like Aoife, you've had the benefit of that as well, and I'm sure you're still carrying that in the back pocket and still putting all those processes in place.
Yeah, of course. The academy went through all the fitness and the things best to prepare for events. So yeah, it's great that I'm able to use that now, still going forward, and for preparing for events. And yeah, as Craig says, your hydration is, I think, so important, especially at Rome. The amount of water that you're drinking is actually insane. But you just have to be. I suppose you have to be fit, and you have to be able to concentrate on the long stages, and come into Sunday still be able to concentrate and keep racing the guys as well,
Yeah, and like Casey J, from your point of view, you're very lucky. You've Killian getting all the benefit of the academy, and I'm sure he's sharing that with you. Do you feel that it's so important that you have to be as fresh going into the last stage on Sunday as you were going into the first stage Saturday morning?
Yeah, 100% sure. I suppose I probably there's a lot of people around you could pick up the phone to and ask as well, that kind of way. There's a lot of people that are willing to help you out, like whether it be the likes of Eamon Kelly there, who'd be a good hand to me, obviously, before rallies and stuff, to be fair to him. So, absolutely, it's obviously seriously important, like the two lads said there. It's a long week from when you fly out Monday until you come home Sunday night or Monday. Like, it's all go, and very easy to forget to be drinking water, not just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but from the Monday before the rally. So 100%, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as you say, it's not just the 2 days or the 2.5 days of the rally. It's the whole week. It's the whole build up. It's getting the rest. It's getting the right food in your system. And still being, I suppose, doing the exercise, but not overdoing it as well. Yeah,
100%. And another big thing, I suppose, is probably sleep as well. To be fair, you're up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning on videos. So, like, if you're getting into bed at 11 or 12 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, it's not much good,
No.
Me and Killian for the first round, we were we used to get into bed, and obviously not together, like just in the same room, like. and next thing we'd just be going to sleep, and next thing we'd start talking about Mark IIs or something stupid like that, and we'd be up till 1 o'clock in the morning. So after the first rally, we said, no, that's the end of that. We're not talking to each other anymore now. Leave
the talking through the day.
That's it, yeah. We're talking over rubbish during the day. We don't need to talk that night.
And come here, does Kellyanne call pace notes in his sleep?
No, he calls that worse than pace notes now.
And Casey J, like you know, is there much camaraderie between, I suppose here we're very used to the bit of banter before the start of the stages and stuff between the drivers, and that is, it's such a international mix of drivers, and I suppose you're all, competing against each other pretty much in a one make series in the Rally 3, but is there a bit of camaraderie? Is there a swapping of information and how people are finding it, or is it quite closely guarded?
No, I'd say obviously compared to Ireland, it's definitely a lot more closely guarded. Like, no, in saying that, like all the guys they're nice people, and like you would obviously get a bit of a chat, but like it's nothing like at home really in that sense. Very closely guarded, and a lot of the guys keep their cards to their chest, that kind of way. But which is probably expected, to be fair. I mean, it's the European Championship. Like, you're not doing the Ravens Rock there the weekend where you're sitting at the start of the stage there for 20 minutes talking before it. Like, it's obviously a lot more serious than that. But yeah, I suppose it probably has to be fair.
And like, Craig, from your point of view, it must be nearly a home from home. Yourself there, Aoife's there, Ewan from last year, and Keelan as well too. So there must have been a wee bit of crack between you guys as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. In fairness, there's a great bunch of people there. Like even Calais and Jasper and Sergey. They're all in regroup there and all that. You're all sitting around chatting away, having the crack. It's nice now, yeah. Like there's always a bit of banter and a bit of slagging going on, and yeah, it's good. You need that because there's long road sections and long regroups. You need something to pass the time, and when you're in the rally car, you're focused, but you just need to kind of not switch off, but you just need to enjoy it as well.
And you need that wee bit of distraction as well too, because you couldn't be just fully chinned up the whole time.
Exactly, yeah. Like there was a 1 hour nearly regroup before the power stage, and we were able to sit down and chat shite with Casey and Killian and Keelan. It just takes your mind off it, because you don't want to be sitting there for an hour thinking that there's 2 seconds behind me and 3 seconds in front of me. Should be going crazy. It's you just need that distraction, yeah, as you say.
Yeah, you started talking about Mark IIs then, did you?
Yeah, we're focused on the rock
and other stuff.
Ravens Rock, yeah.
Well, don't ask what the other stuff is.
No.
Connor?
Yeah, and Craig, I suppose one of the things we see about the ERC is the local experts. Every time you go to a new country, you have the local, top drivers are entered, but they're not the regulars. Do you kind of put them to the back of your mind, and you're just benchmarking against your regular competitors, or you're also looking at the local guys to see what times they're clocking in and to see, I suppose, how you're comparing to them?
Yeah, definitely. I suppose actually I was quite surprised how they were even ahead of any of them, because when I heard on Wednesday or Thursday we only had medium tyres and they were going to have hard tyres, I really thought they were just going to be way out in front. But it just goes to show how good the Hankook tyre is, that it's fit to keep up with the hard Michelin and hard Pirelli. Like it's I think there was only one Italian lad that bet us, and I think he's 33 and he's rallying a long time. So yeah, you definitely would be kind of looking at their times and that, but you wouldn't be too worried about them. You're kind of focused on the junior boys, but it's definitely a good confidence booster to be beating the locals.
And Aoife, you're competing on both continents in the same year. Are you seeing much real obvious differences between rallying in the States and rallying in Europe?
Yeah, look, I think just rallying is growing. I think it's growing quite big over in America, but it's probably not just yet where it's at the level of it as the European Rally Championship. But you can see it's starting to grow and it's starting to get bigger. And they're putting a lot of work over their side to try and make it grow, which is really good to see. But yeah, of course, you're rallying with some cool names over there as well, and yeah, look, there's, I suppose, in the European Championship you've got a mixture of gravel and tarmac events, and over there you've got your gravel events. Stages are actually, I was like pleasantly surprised by how good the stages were over the first time I rallied over there. Some really good stages, and just, yeah, no, the atmosphere is still, it doesn't change that much that way. Everybody's still there for the same kind of reasons. Yeah, I think the European level is probably a bit more serious, but it's just, again, just the level that we're at, and the level of drivers that are there, and yeah, but both championships, it's nice to be part of and see kind of those differences that there is, and yeah, you're meeting new people all the time, and you're kind of, I suppose, learning different things all the time, and as Craig was saying about adapting pace notes to everywhere you go to, it's really useful there, because you're going over and you're learning a new style of road again, and you just have to kind of adapt your notes for that, and you can then take it home and you can use that for the gravel rallies that I was doing here as well.
And like Aoife, like, the Subaru you're driving out there, like, it's an iconic car. Like, we've seen over the years how that car has been developed and all, and some of the names that was, the opportunity set and that. Do you get a sense of that? That's a kind of an iconic brand in rallying in America.
Yeah, of course. Being in a Subaru and then running with Dirtfish is, it's quite special, and it's quite cool to be able to say that I'm doing that, and to get that opportunity is massive. But yeah, Subaru is so big over in the US, and then you're rallying the likes of Travis Pastrana and Brandon Semenuk, which is, again, is something really cool, because you kind of hear them when you're growing up and you see them, and I suppose the amount of people that actually know them over there, and the followers that they have, like, coming to all the events, coming up to them, is just, it's insane. But yeah, it's being part of that whole environment is quite cool over there.
Yeah, because they're household names. They are beyond rallying. The likes of Semenuk and Pastrana too. Like, they are box office.
Yeah, they are, and it's great to see, like, if the amount, the people that they actually bring to the rallies and the events, they definitely hike up the numbers that are going to watch it. So that's important too. And yeah, it'd be nice to see maybe some more drivers going over to America, or vice versa, coming over to Europe. To be interesting to see. But yeah, I think they're putting a push on to have more FIA homologated cars over there, and I think that's interesting as well. And hopefully we can see that starting to grow and develop over there.
Mm-hmm. And because as well, you mentioned there as well, being part of the Dirtfish family as well too. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, Dirtfish, has only been on the scene a very short time, as in the promotion of rally and one thing and another. But it's become such a great animal, and there's such a positive vibes around it.
Yeah, and in fairness to Dirtfish, they're putting in massive work, just like on both sides of promoting rallying, and they're at every WRC event, and then the program I'm running under is with Josie Rimmer and the Dirtfish Women in Motorsport driver program. So that's, there's me and there's another American driver, Michelle Abada is her name, and we're running under this program, and it's just to try and, I suppose, build the profile of women in motorsport and try and encourage more to get into it. But to even be part of that, and it's quite cool and quite special. And I think it was in May we were over there for the Women in Motorsport Summit, and he had the likes of Leah Block and Claire Williams from the F1 team. So it's cool to be part of that, and I suppose try and keep pushing it and building it.
Women in motorsport here in Ireland, it's on the cusp of something great.
Yeah, of course. It's nice seeing, like, of Gemma Hanlon there coming along in J1000s, and that's nice to see as well that she's building and her progress is coming along, and yeah, it's really good to see it, and hopefully we get more and more involved.
That's for sure. And Craig, like, we talked about there, you get into that last stage, whatever, 4 or 5 seconds between second and fourth. Like, what's that like going into that? Do you just have to blank everything else out? It's just that wee bit of tar just in front of you and forget about everything else?
Yeah, I suppose when we had that regroup the hour before, it was the Swiss boy was behind us. He was 6 seconds, I think, behind us, because Johan had a 10-second penalty. And then during regroup, he got that 10-second penalty scrapped, and it was down to 2 seconds going into that last stage that he was behind us. So I suppose, yeah, it was a very quiet road section between me and Connor going from regroup to the stage, but I suppose you just kind of had to change your mindset because I don't like being chased. I prefer to be chasing. So I kind of got in my head. I was like, Jasper's 3.3 ahead. Let's go for him. And yeah, you just kind of had to get in and just go as hard as you could. You know, last stage, 7 kilometers, just put all on the line. And yeah, fair play to Ewan. He's had a hell of a time. He took 0.9 out of us. I had absolutely nothing left, and he brought it down to, I think, was only 1.1 seconds between us at the end of the rally, which is unbelievable. Like when you think about it, that there's 207 kilometers, and that's how much is between us. Like, yeah, it was crazy, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and was it as close to perfect stage as you probably could have drove?
It was up there definitely. Yeah, we got very lucky on one moment. There was kind of like a long tree right, and it nipped at the end, and the whole car just went completely sideways and just stopped. Like I'd say about a mile away from the wall, and just went on anyway. And yeah, luck was on my side. Thank God, I needed it after them two poor events. It was just good to finally get something good.
And the KCJ, you come away with third in the Rally 3 category. Like that what you expected from the weekend, or is that way above your expectations?
Well, I suppose a bit of both. Like I kind of knew going to Italy that it would probably suit me a little bit better than the last two rallies. Obviously, I've done a couple of rallies in Italy before, so no, like I was probably quietly confident I'd definitely be faster than I was throughout the year so far. Obviously, yeah, like that's what I probably hoped to be, top four, top five, something like that. So yeah, obviously third in the ERC three and second in the M Sport Trophy. So yeah, no, I was delighted to come away with a podium. Like anytime you can go to a European Championship rally and come home with a trophy is definitely a good weekend,
And then, Aoife, like from your own point of view, like this, the dual championships and all this year, do you feel that you're improving as a driver now with every event, and it's all this has been took in, and just you're soaking it all up in like a sponge, and it's just you feel you're improving with every event?
Yeah, of course. I think each rally our pace is coming on, and yeah, we definitely still have a bit to go on the tarmac. I think our gravel pace is coming along nicely, and we just need to keep building on it. But yeah, the tarmac is, we're still working on it. We're probably just a bit further back on that, but that will come. And as I said, each rally our pace is building, and each day it's building. So we just need to keep looking at that and keep bringing it forward to the next event then.
Yeah, because the previous round, you were fourth, I think, then, wasn't it? And set some really competitive times on the gravel as well.
Yeah, I suppose we just kind of have that more natural feeling on the gravel, and when you have that, then you're able to push a bit more and feel comfortable to do so. And yeah, I really, really enjoy the gravel. So it's just, when you can get the feeling to push, it's quite nice. And yeah, so we're happy with the pace in Poland, and I think again we showed we had improved from Hungary. Yeah, it's a pity there's not a couple more gravel rallies in the championship, but. Yeah, look, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. You still have to be able to drive on both, and yeah, we're just working away at it and trying to improve the pace on it.
Mm-hmm. And Casey, like from your point of view, like will there be a few more rounds of the European Championship now as well too? Like, is that something you want to continue on with?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Obviously, yeah, I'd obviously much rather be in the European Championship when possible. But yeah, so now we plan to go to Barham Czech Republic Rally, which is obviously the next round of the championship. So that's the plan for now. After that, I don't really know. The plan was kind of these 5 rallies and kind of see rally by rally how we're getting on. And yeah, I've enjoyed every rally we've done so far, and everything has been fairly clean so far. So yeah, we'll plug away for another while and see how we go.
Yeah, and do you feel that you're benefiting from as a driver as well too? Will that be something that you will bring home with you and improve your pace here?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's probably bound to improve your pace. I would say, like any of us that are in the European Championship this year, if we go home, like we'll be probably should be faster than we probably were before we started doing this. So yeah, I suppose the rallies are a lot tougher, and every rally is a bit different. So. It's bound to bring on all aspects of your driving, I suppose, and preparation for rallies too.
Yeah, And Craig, like from your point of view, you won the Billy Coleman Award. You knew it was going to be a tough challenge, but so far so good for you.
Yeah, I guess you have to just try and focus on the positives from the year. I suppose I was really happy with Spain. We picked up fourth there, and then yeah, just Hungary didn't go our way, and then Poland, just the pace was good, but just a small mistake on my end, and we missed out there as well. So yeah, look, I was delighted that it finally all came together for this round, and that's a podium in the bag now. So hopefully we can try and stay on that now for the next two rounds, and maybe aim a bit higher. We'll just keep building on it and working on it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because you probably come away from Ireland last year thinking, this is insane the pace you guys were going at, because you were coming off stages, 4 or 5 of you separated by like 2 seconds or whatever. But you've obviously dug deep and you've found something more as well.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose last year we all got an eye opener when we went out to Gredigan, and we saw that there was that other step. And I suppose that's the only way you're gonna bring yourself on is to go out to these events and challenge yourself to be that bit faster. When you're at home and you're thinking you're going as hard as you can, when you don't see any faster times coming in, or you don't have a benchmark to go to, you just kind of stay where you are. So that's what's the beauty of these European events. You see that, Jesus, there's another 10 seconds somehow in that stage, and it just makes you go back home and analyze everything and see, oh yeah, you can go a little bit harder there, and it all adds up. It definitely it brings on every aspect of your driving these events.
Mm-hmm. And then, like all this initiatives you're getting from the academy, this has all been taken and it's all fallen together, and it's helping you to find that, 5 seconds or 10 seconds. It's rallying, there's no huge leaps, it's all just small bits coming together.
Definitely, yeah. And that's what the academy always kind of focuses on, that it's the small 1%, they all add up, and it definitely, it all, when you see it now in person out in these events, like the small 1% in a 35-kilometer stage really add up. If you're losing 0.1 or 0.2 seconds per kilometer, it's quite a bit by the end of the stage. So you just really appreciate how all the small 1% can really make such a big difference in the grand scheme of things.
So huge thanks to Aoife, to KCJ, and also to Craig. Fantastic opportunity to catch up with them, and we'll be back to them later in the year as well to see how their season goes. And Kevin, we also had a chance to catch up with the Rally 4 crews from Ravens Rock.
Yeah, like Ravens Rock, Josh won the rally. Eddie Doherty, very unfortunate, had his home rally, looked as if he had it in the bag, but unfortunately time penalties robbed him of the one. But Josh, once again, the Hyundai was there to pick up the pieces. Daisy Henry took a strong second, and then in third with Declan Boyle. Great to see him back in the podium again as well too. So yeah, a really good strong weekend all round. And James Stafford took the two-wheel drive one. But Rally 4, we keep saying it, these young guys coming up through, the future is so safe by all the abundance of talent we have. And I got a chance to catch up with Cian Caldwell, Jack Brennan, and Oran England. Cian, you come out the winner, but it was anybody's rally.
Yeah, it was Height Days Rally, and the class was very competitive again, which is great to see. I think there was maybe 13 or 14 in the class, and we had a slow enough start. We had a bit of a misfire for the first loop of stages, but got back in, sorted it out, and had to put the catch on with the boys, and I caught up to them. I think it was the long stage that helped me a lot. I just seemed to get into a good rhythm, and drove her, so that helped. And yeah, we were going into the last stage. I think I was only 2 seconds ahead of Jack, and managed just to go quicker again. So it was tight. It could have been me or Jack's race. So it was just worked out for me this time as well. So was happy with how things went.
Yeah, because this whole year has been the same. It's been so competitive. Just guys in every rally you do, whether it's tar or in gravel, you're fighting it out for tenths of seconds in every event, nearly.
Yeah, it's we're going to a rally there saying anyone could win it. It's not just the same person winning, which is good. It's great to see how competitive the class is, and with the cars being so equal, you know, it really is down to the duo that's inside the car, and you know, it comes down to pace notes, and you know, on the mental side of things as well, it can be tough, be challenging, but also just working on setup, and you know, but at the end of the day, it's I think personally it's about pace notes as well as anything else. You know, that'll really drive you on and get you going.
Yeah, because like Jack, you know, like, if an hour is fractions a second, and like, as Cian said there, the cars being so equal, it has to be come down to the prep that goes in before you ever step into the car on Sunday morning.
Yeah, like I fully agree with Keane there. Like especially in those cars, like the pace notes matter. Like even though they're local enough stages to me, I even had a moment because I just slightly misjudged the pace note, and like it makes a huge difference. Like, and whether you're going to be too fast, you could make him too fast, or you could make him too slow, and you're still hampering time, no matter what you do, either way. But yeah, it was definitely a close battle between the three of us for the whole day anyway. But I suppose the other side of that is we're all friends outside the car, which does make for a good bit of crack and a good bit of slagging afterwards as well. So I can't complain about that.
Yeah, and I suppose we should give a shout out to a man that wasn't able to join us tonight, Ben McFall too. Like Ben would have been up in that mix too, only a couple of notional times as well too. So like, you know, there's at least 4 guys going to every rally just within, you know, and it will be who has done the most amount of prep before the event, who just gets the tyre choice right on the day.
Yeah, like that was like it's nice to see the fact that everyone is so close, like all the time, and yeah, like even with tire choice there, as you're saying, Kevin, it's like Sunday was just like a pure gamble. Like it was raining halfway through some stages, but the only thing about it was we were nearly all on medium slick, so it was fairly matched. Like there was never going to be enough rain to bring a soft or maybe even a wet. Like that wasn't even going to be considered. But no, it was definitely a challenging day for all of us, and the pace was definitely hot from the word go. I think after the second stage, I think there was less than a second separating 4 or 5 of us there. So you know, it's everyone is fairly on it straight away when you're only separated by that much time.
Yeah, and like the event the club put on, a top class event, like everybody, you know, they weren't the normal stages, you know, there were real challenging stages. There was a lot of driving and a lot of commitment needed from both sides of the car.
Yeah, there definitely was. Carrick Shore always put on a good rally, to be fair. Our own motor club, whether it's forestry or tarmac, they seem to. Simon Reid seemed to pick some good rows now the last 2 times he's ran the event. So yeah, look, hats off to the whole Carrick Shore team that helped out and everyone that marshalled on the day as well. So no, look, hopefully Simon can stay and maybe run the rock in another 2 years' time, and he'll be back picking the roads again.
And Oran, like from your point of view as well too, like this is, you know, this is only, you're still learning the ropes as such, but the fact that, you know, you're racing these guys too, it shows that the pace is there.
Oh yeah, no, it's tough going. Like as the boys are saying, like the commitment is mad. Like even every stage you go through, like you're kind of half thinking like, oh jeez, I was on a bit of a good one there. Then you come in and boys have like another second on you or a tenth here or there. Like it's so close, and like the length of the stages as well. Like I think for me a big one, like as Keane was saying there about the notes, like it was my second weekend writing notes. And first time for Dara Coleman with me, like, so I suppose that weekend was a big learning curve for us. I definitely thought, like, I suppose myself there, I got a bit let down on my side of notes. I know going in on the first loop, we were, I suppose, a small bit nervous going into it. But, you know, it's all learning, I suppose. And I suppose these guys have lots of experience. So it's kind of playing catch up at this stage, really.
And like making your own notes, do you feel it was a benefit to you by the end of the day? Do you feel it was you were in a better place than where you were at the start of the day?
Like definitely, I think writing your own notes is a much better exercise. I think like you understand the rally more. Like you know, you're more focused in what you're doing. Like when you're calling out the notes, you're more looking into the corner. You're more reading the road. You're more everything. Whereas if you're just doing it off organizers' notes, like you know, you're kind of just doing what you're told. Really, you're not paying as much attention. Whereas like when you're putting in your own work, you kind of remember things more and you learn more about it. And I suppose you might cop maybe a few things more as well. And I suppose as well, you're writing the note to suit you. Like you're not, you know, like organisers are writing a note that might be for a J1000 or a Rally 2 car. Like so, I suppose when you're writing these notes to suit yourself and what you like. So I suppose that's definitely a big help. But I suppose that for me, I found at the weekend, even with the tricky part for me, I found even sometimes was like a little small into or an and where maybe it shouldn't have been there at all in the first place. I suppose something like that kind of caught me out on one or two corners. Like so, no, look, it's all learning really, and I think it's definitely a benefit is in writing notes, anyways.
Yeah, because like I suppose like now you're saying into or an and that's probably okay at normal road speeds, but the time you're coming down that at rally speeds, it's a whole different thing, isn't it?
Oh, like the commitment of the weekend was just crazy. Like some of the stuff, like you couldn't see what's coming. Like you're down a little road and the grass is coming in both sides of you, and you're just pinned. You're just listening to what it says. So like that little into or the little land is vital, really. You know what I mean? Because the next thing you have a corner, and the next thing you're on top of it. If the note's wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Cian, there must be no feeling like that. Just being totally on the zone, going down that road and trusting. You're trusting the co-driver, and he has full trust in you as well.
Yeah, it's a class feeling, to be fair. It really has the adrenaline high. But yeah, it's all about trust as well. That's a massive part. Like if you have one wrong note in there, it could just be vital. Like you just don't know what could happen. So yeah, I feel it's a class sport to be in, and as the boys were saying, like the pace has gotten very hot, but I feel like it's gotten very, very fast in all the classes in Ireland, which is it's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing. There's going to be worse crashes and stuff coming up, and I know that, but I suppose that's where it comes down to making sure your notes are 100% and you've got good trust in the car and good trust in the man beside you.
Yeah, and like obviously you're making your own notes now as well too. And have you found that like as a benefit to you going forward as well?
Yeah, look, you're never going to be 100% satisfied with your notes. There's always going to be things changing. I was making my notes and I struggled for a long time. And it's only sort of now I'm starting to get good grips of corners and, my own abbreviations on certain things. And Paul McPhillips, he's after jumping in with me for the last two rallies, and he's been a great help. He's a well experienced man, woods and tarmac. So, he has his own little things that he's been showing me, and I've been helping him. And yeah, no, it's challenging, and it does take a lot out of you on the recce. But once you make a good set of notes, you do see the difference when it comes to the stages.
Sure. And like Jack too, like in Ireland here, we're very lucky. You guys, in the Rally 4 years at the MIJRA, like a championship there, a dual service championship. So you're learning both tar and on gravel, like, and that's vital if you want to go beyond these shores.
Yeah, 100% it does. And even to go as far as saying from J1000 now, they've introduced two tarmac, albeit rally sprints, but it's still counting towards your championship, and you have to do the tarmac round. So, like the MIJRS is stretching the whole way from J1000 all the way to us. And it's, no, look, the MIJRS is a great championship, but yeah, it offers both. It offers you good tarmac and good gravel rallies to go to throughout this country, and it really, it can get you ready to go far beyond this country.
Yeah, and like we are probably very lucky because the level's so good here, the events are so good here, and if you can have pace here and a good car and good pace here, you can go anywhere. Like we've seen that with our guys who've went on to the BRC or the ERC. Yes, there's a wee bit of a step up maybe for the ERC, but they come from a good place to start with.
Yeah, exactly. You look at Josh, for instance, driving with M Sport now. Like he would have started back in this country, obviously before the MIJRS, but it just shows that people from this country can really reach the top.
That's for sure. And like Oran, we can see it, like with the MI Academy, like the level of progressions there. Like you come through karting, but right from J1000 or karting coming into the sport, Rally 4, Rally 3, Rally 2, and like Rally 1 is achievable. It's not a fantasy anymore.
Yeah, no, like in fairness, it's great. Like when you see the boys in the academy, they're doing great work. Like, and I suppose I have Dara alongside me as well, who sits with Kyle McBride as well. Like, and he's in the academy as well. So, like, I suppose sometimes you get a small bit of help from him regarding notes too and bits and bobs. Sometimes he lives only over the road from me, so we meet up and odd even sometimes as well, just to practice writing notes. And it does be a great exercise as well and a great help. But I suppose it's nice to see. Like I suppose sometimes when you're in karting, a lot of the work you have to do yourself. you don't have this, like you can progress in karting, but I suppose if you want to go to England, you go yourself. If you want to go to Europe, you go yourself. Like, it's nice to see, I suppose, with the academy that they're giving lads the opportunity, I suppose, and the guidance, I suppose, to take these steps, which is good.
Yeah, because that, and probably with karting as well too. It's very insular, where you with rallying, you have all these other guys to pick up the phone to if you're something you're not sure about, and everybody's so willing to help each other.
Yeah, no, that was a big thing for me. Whenever I changed, I suppose, from the different type of four wheels into the car, and it was a big thing. I couldn't get over like the support really you got when you began rallying. Like, I suppose the thing in karting, it's definitely changing. The paddock's getting a nicer place. But I suppose in rallying, it's nice. You can actually get out of the car and. We get like my first rally. I don't know. Loads of people come up to me and go, "Oh, best of luck," and I was nearly like, "Jesus, what's happening here?" Like in karting, you wouldn't really get much best of lucks. But no, like in fairness, I think from my perspective, I done karting for 9 years and travelled around doing we were around the world finals and stuff like that, and they were amazing experiences and definitely like. Coming into rallying is definitely a great help regarding, understanding. I suppose it definitely probably helps when it comes to understanding the car too. Like, I know a car it's quite different, as in like, there's quite a simple setup, but you have to understand, like, you understand the car, So again, you want to get to try and understand a rally car and what each component does and why it's doing this and that kind of. So it definitely helps.
Mm-hmm. Because Cian, you're similar too. You come through the karting. You didn't come up through the junior 1000. And probably the karting probably helps more on the tarmac. How did you find the transition to gravel from that then?
It was tricky. It was definitely tricky, but I feel like there's more room for error on the gravel compared to tarmac. We could maybe have a little run off and hit a bank. You get away with it 8 times out of 10, but on tarmac it's different. But no, the transition was fairly good. Obviously, it took a couple of rallies, but there was I had a good few experienced navigators in with me at the time that were helping me, and I suppose the competition in the class was so quick. So you're just constantly coming home from a rally, looking at yourself, what you've done wrong, and trying to progress on and try and catch up with the lads.
Mm-hmm. I could think, were you able to sit down and say, like, what's your in car, and then compare it to the likes, I don't know, Craig Rahill or whatever, just to see where you're at with them?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he was at the time. He wouldn't have been in our class, but
Right.
I would have been comparing it again, other lads, and if you got them, sometimes boys wouldn't post them, But if you're lucky enough to get one and have a look, of course you would try and get the upper hand, and that's what it's all about because the cars are equal. So it really does come down to the driver, and but I really do like the woods, so it just made me want to try and get better as quickly as I could, and I'm still trying to get better. You can't really just stay at a flat. Like, you have to keep progressing because the class is constantly progressing. So if you just stay at a flat, you'll be left behind.
Yeah, because like Jack, that is the thing that you can't afford even to look around you now at this stage, because if you do, there's somebody else. There's at least two other guys that go in front of you.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the pace of Rally 4 since it was introduced into this country, like, has just skyrocketed. Even in the last 2 years, like, the pace of Rally 4 in this country alone it's gone crazy. Like,
Yeah.
but then again, as Cian is saying, like, if you're not willing to put in the work, or you're there looking around you, the boys will just blow straight past you. Like, this has been the second time now this year where myself and Cian have been separated by nothing going into the last stage of the rally. The same thing happened in the forestry back a couple of months ago, and he's definitely not he's definitely a hard man to beat now. I'll put it that way. It's easily 2-0 at this stage. So I'll have to try and get one back on him now before the year comes out.
But whenever it's like that, going into that last stage, sitting on the line, there must be some buzz just thinking, right, get the head just completely in this here. We need to be at this 110%.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the fact that over even the last stage, the Ravens were up there like 18 Ks, we were only separated by a handful of seconds. Like, it just goes to show, like, that there is not much between any of us. Even Oran there was third there the weekend. He was still like he was only about 8 or 9 seconds back going into the stage. So like it was still a three-way battle. Like if me or Keane spun or slid on the junk strat, and like Oran was right there behind the two of us as well. Like so, no, it was heavy all to play for on the last stage.
And like Oran, like this, you're like these guys maybe have a year experience more than you, or a couple of years maybe even. But like this is you're only, do you feel that there's a lot more to come?
Oh yeah, I suppose as Jack said there at the weekend, I was kind of just hanging on to the end, maybe hoping for a wee mistake on the boys' behalf. But in fairness, it never really came. In fairness, they just never put a foot wrong all weekend. So it's kind of playing catch up on that one. But yeah, I suppose like there's always work to do, as Keane was saying. Like you're never there really, like because no matter how much you think you're there, there's someone else coming, or there's someone like you come to another like in Cavan we went well, and then we came this weekend and you had to come back and learn. You're coming back to the table thinking, right, where can you improve here and where can you do this better, and you're never really there. Like you're always learning and always playing catch up. Really, I think.
Yeah, and like even as something as probably as simple as going from Cavan down to Waterford at the weekend, and like it's different temperatures. Does that change the tyre setup? Does that, do you have to then change out slightly, maybe a click or two in the car? Wee things like that, and having the confidence to do that.
Yeah, like I know this weekend for me, I felt was a big learning curve regarding even just understanding the car. Like going into the first loop, I kind of liked my car quite hard, and we went with a medium on the front and a soft in the back, and like the car just didn't work at all for us. Like, and it kind of really knocked the confidence then as well going into the second loop. We had a couple of moments in the first loop, and it definitely didn't help. Like, but I suppose for myself, it was a good learning curve because it began to understanding like maybe the car didn't let the tire work because it was just putting too much load onto the tire and things like that. I suppose is all you're always learning about it, and that's what I said. Like it's nice to like eventually I'd like to be able to understand the car and understand like how like even looking if you go to a recce and be able to look at a stage and be like, right, look, that stage is going to need like a soft car, but maybe when you come off that stage, let's tighten by 2 clicks on the back or whatever. You know what I mean? And it'd be nice to be able to do that too. And I think to be honest, the class is kind of going that way in a way. Anyways, I think that's probably the next thing that's going to happen. But no, it's always improving and always learning. Really, I suppose.
That's for sure. Because Jack, it was a buddy of yours, the late great Craig Breen started that in Ireland. That's between the stages, the guys stood in amazement watching this, but it has become almost part of the course now.
Oh, it has, yeah. Like even like I see it with different stages. You'll look back on the onboard from the recce and stuff, and you'll be there, right? That stage is a lot more bumpier than that. Or even in Donegal or Killarney, like we were changing the car in between stages and stuff, just purely to suit the stage that was coming. And like you said with Craig, he was the one changing the car, and I suppose then when everyone seen him doing it, they started changing. Like, well, he must be doing something right if he's topping the timesheets. But no, that's the way it's gone. But I don't think the fun side will ever go out of the Rally 4 class. Like we're all young, we're all good friends at the end of the day. Surely one person is going to get slagged in between the road section for changing tyre pressure or something. Someone's always going to get it anyway before the start line. But hey, look, it's all about having fun at the end of the day, and we are all good friends, so it makes it even better.
Yeah, because that is the whole thing about it. Is the slagging. Whenever the clock's ticking, absolutely, of course, you're 110% focused. You will drive over the top with Jack Brennan to get that 10th of a second of him. But between the stages, it's a bit of fun.
Oh, definitely. It's normally Tommy Moffat that just get the bad end of the slagging. And you'd nearly miss him there the weekend when he he'd slight off or whatever. But the slagging was going out, but then we had to start picking on Jack. But no, definitely. There's nothing worse getting out. There's nothing better getting out of the car and saying, going over to the next man and saying, what had you in there, and hearing that he might have taken 2 out of you or you took 2 out of him, and you're getting back in and you're pumped and you're going for more then in the next one. And it is. Once the fun goes out of it, what's the point anymore? It's very important to have fun when you're doing it.
And as well as we say, you can see that the ladder progression, but even the way you see the likes of Matthew Boyle, the way he has stepped, from the Rally 2 into Rally 4 into the Rally 2 this year, it's been phenomenal. Like the results he has got now in the last few events, it has to give you a great heart that if you can drive these things, the sky's the limit.
Oh, definitely. it's the Rally 2 route is it's quite expensive and stuff, so it's hard to know, or it's hard to say if that will ever happen. But no, it gives you a bit of hope that we must be doing something right in this class if Matthew's able to jump into the Rally 2 and be finishing in the top 10, especially in Donegal. He had a very impressive weekend, demanding weekend, and he finished in the top 10, so fair play to him.
Yeah, and even there the weekend, Ravensrock, he kept the nose clean, and another great result, and some very, very impressive times. He was thereabouts between Declan and Michael as well too.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough racing now between the three of them.
Yeah,
it's good to see. It's good to see Declan hasn't lost it either. He's going very well at the minute.
That's right.
Yeah,
and Jack, as Cian just alluded to, this is a very expensive sport, and you need all your sponsors. You need the right team behind you. You need the right setup, and without all those bits, it would just be throwing money away.
Yeah, exactly. Like sponsors are everything. Like I've been very lucky over the last couple of years that I've had sponsors that have stuck by me, and like without them, as you were saying, Kevin, it's just not possible. And you suppose you have to have the right team around you and everybody. Between Owen sitting in the car beside me, or the sponsors, or NCRS for looking after the car, or my dad running around trying to organise everyone. Then at the same time as that, but it's all Look, I'm in quite a good position where my dad does help me out a lot with the organising between people, and I suppose NCRS always put out a faultless car for me. So none of this would definitely ever be possible without it.
That's for sure. And Oran, I'm saying the same for yourself there too. You're lucky, you have good people around you, and it allows you to get into that car and concentrate on the driving and not have to worry about all the other stuff as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely great. Like as Jack said, without sponsors, this whole thing wouldn't really be happening anyways. Because, in fairness to motorsport, it's quite expensive. No matter what motorsport you're in, it's going to cost you a bit. And it is great to get the support from sponsors, and mostly local sponsors and everything. And it's great that they, and you can give back to them too eventually. But no, definitely. It's nice that you have the confidence when you're getting into the car that you have a good team around you. I have myself and Dara and Damien and Conley, we do work together and as a team too. And definitely I've gotten a lot of help from both of them, two very experienced navigators. And definitely my journey so far, they've definitely been a massive help. And, and then you have Tom Gahan setting up the car as well, a well-experienced man. So, when you put the trust in those people, it's nice to be able to trust them and work as a team and work together and, come up with a solution for things as well when they don't work. And that's definitely important as well, that everyone gets along. And, that's really important. And I suppose your family as well, they put a lot of commitments on the line too, to get you there and enjoy the weekend as well. So that's a big thing as well too.
That's for sure. And Cian, from your point of view too, you're lucky too. You have good people, good sponsors, and all that. And that, is a difference between you being out at the weekend and not being there.
Yeah, exactly. Sponsors are a massive help, and as Jack was saying, our fathers, they really are the people that don't get enough credit. Without my old boy anyway, it'd be a bit of a mess. But and MCN Rally, and they're the boys that run my car. And Gary McNamee, he's a clever man when it comes to setting up a car. And if anything ever happens, he'll always get you back out. There's never just that joke's done for the day. It's always hands on and keep her going, and trying to get back out. So but without everyone on board, it's impossible. You do need a good team behind you, in all aspects of it.
Yeah, and I suppose then to start wrapping things up, maybe Owen will start with yourself. More of the same now for the rest of the year. Concentrating, kind of developing and pushing yourself on.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, we'll keep the head down, and we'll keep working away on our notes, and I suppose working on understanding the car and stuff like that. It's quite close between myself and Cian and the Triton. I think Cian's kind of getting a bit away with us on when it comes to the MIJRS. But look, I suppose there's still a long year ahead yet. So look, we'll keep the head down and keep working away. And look, you never know what will happen, I suppose.
Yeah, and Jack, yourself too. Is it more of the same for yourself as well?
Yeah, we're still obviously trying to fight for that front spot at the front of the Stellantis. I suppose we only came back for Ravens Rock because it's our home, it's our local rally. It's this year ran only beside my house there. It was the first stage was around the Mooncoin area, so no, look, we just said we'd have to come back and do the local rally and try and keep in with these boys. But yeah, look, just stick to the Stellantis for the rest of the year. We have a bit of a break now until the Grand Prix in August. So yeah, my head is definitely down learning all them stages and trying to get as much info as I can before I go.
And Cian, try and keep your head on Oran and see what where you're at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. You set out to do the 3 championships, and we've had good luck as well this year compared to last year. So yeah, it's good. It's been a good year for us so far, and I'm just gonna focus on getting more out of the car and getting more out of myself as a driver. So head down and keep going.
So thanks to Cian, Jack, and Oran, and Kevin, as you say, I think the future looks very bright for Irish rallying.
Yeah, like we keep saying it, but every time this conveyor belt keeps going on, and the talent's just getting brighter and brighter.
Yeah, look, it is amazing, and it's not just that they're competitive on the stages; they're really nice people. They're just such a joy to talk to and listen to and hear their stories, and it's just great having the opportunity to catch up with them.
Yeah, and they, as you say, they have a story and they know how to tell it as well too, which has been brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And speaking of stories, you were up at Loughgall.
Yeah, I got spent up there myself, and Joe Sharp went up there last Saturday, and a great day's crack was had. Like it's not a single venue, as we know it, and it's not a road stage as we know it. It's somewhere in between. It's round a park, big trees, hard ditches. It's an easy place you can make a mistake, but it's a great out event. The stage is only just over, I think, 3.5 miles long. But it's a real challenge into it, and it brings out some real good competitive racing. So I really enjoyed the day out, and the weather was reasonably good after a really wet day on Friday. I was expecting to get my feet wet, but no, all in all, it was a good dry day and really good racing. And at the end, I got a chance to catch up with the top 3, and that was won by Marty Toner in the Proton with the 2.5 Millington. And then Aaron McLoughlin then claimed second place after a bit of problems on the first stage. But that, more importantly, that gave him the Northern Ireland Championship, and he was just over the moon with that. And then in third, Jason Black and Carl Egan back in the start of the game, and it's safe to say now that Jason's back again, and he's got the appetite for rallying back too. So let's hear from the 3 guys.
Marty Turner, you took the one here in Loughgall today. You have to be over the moon with the one.
Over the moon, yeah. Hasn't settled in yet, but over the moon.
Yeah,
time coming.
And the Proton, it took a year, maybe 2 years nearly at this stage now to develop her. You have her in a good place now?
Having a good place now, the car was perfect. I couldn't fault the car at all. We've done really long all day, so don't bring after to do.
Yeah, and the car, it has all the capabilities, the 4-wheel drive, the power of the Millington, great car.
Oh, good car. Oh, loving the car, yeah. Really enjoying the car now, yeah.
Yeah.
Good way to bounce back now.
And as you say, that's you back again now. You feel yourself in a good place now?
Oh, good, yeah. Oh, hey, more happy.
And then stages out there today, it's a country park, but there's a challenge there. There's a lot of places to catch you out.
Oh, from corners and I tell you, obviously sweat running you, 3 mile.
Yeah.
Do a 20-mile stage, it wouldn't really sweating. It's tough place now.
And real good competition here today. Aaron and Jason and all those guys all pushing hard.
At the start of the last stage, they said, we'll get the finish of this.
And that's what it's all about, shaking hands before you start that stage and going in for it. Yeah. And where are you heading to next then? What's the plan?
I might go to Down Rally in 2 weeks now.
Right, that's kind of home rally for you, and it's not too far away.
Well, this year it'll be home rally, but it's only half an hour, 40 minutes for me.
Right, best luck.
Yeah, thank you.
So Aaron, second overall here today in Loughgall, but more importantly for you, Northern Ireland champion. Nice ring to that.
It is. I've never heard that before. Aaron McLoughlin and champion, so that's the first time now. We're delighted with that. Would have been nice to win the rally that we won the championship on, but with a tight battle there with Marty.
Yeah.
And it was good fun now.
Yeah. And the Northern Ireland Championship does continue to go from strength to strength. Some fantastic rounds this year.
Oh, brilliant. It kind of suits me, a lot of the circuit rounds, we get good results in them, but great rallies, all Saturday mornings, home in the evening, brilliant job.
And even the roads this year too, the Tour of the Sperrins, the Maiden City, real good rallies as well.
Oh aye, the best, attracting the best of the best.
Yeah.
The top 10 in them rallies all year were brilliant.
And today then was no exception, when you're racing against Marty Toner and Jason Black and those guys, you have to be bringing your A game.
You do, surely. I couldn't do it today, unfortunately, with them, but we had a bit of a got off to a bad start, but there was no catching Marty then after that. So
and it's great to see like the proof on. Like he's put a lot of work into that car, and good to see it all coming good for.
Marty's local rally as well. There'll be some partying tonight, I would say.
And then for yourself, then the down rally now in a few weeks to round out the championship. Is it?
That's right. We'll go on now and carry on and down. So we've the championship wrapped up, so we'll go for the crack now.
And like that down rally too, like it's been run now the last few years. The likes of getting the chance to do Hamilton's Folly and it's
some
class.
Big stages.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, and then you're only coming out of the back of Donegal there as well too. Happy enough for your event there as well.
Not too bad. We're grand and only shown. We had a bit of local knowledge there, but we had a bit of a mishap on the Saturday, but we go in on the Sunday again then to finish it out.
And this year at all the classic stages, all the ingredients and the good weather too.
That the weather brought it. I've never seen spectators like it, even in any show.
Yeah.
There's thousands in Mallinhead and Cool Cross and more. Brilliant. So it was.
And like, as you say, you're a local man. It's great to see it coming down to your local area and what it brings to the area as well.
Oh Jesus, the spectators were crazy, but there's a big rallying community there now, and then show again. There must be 15 cars. There was none 10 years ago, and now it's all. So
the buzz is back with it. Well,
brilliant now.
Aaron, delighted once again to announce you as Northern Ireland champion for 2025.
Good man, lovely job.
Jason, back behind the wheel of the starter again today. You come out with third here, your home event there, I suppose, almost this.
Yeah, nice one in the home event. It's a bit rusty this morning, I suppose. It's been 10 months since I was out last, Waxford last year, so no, good one, nice one to bed in with. So again, and thankfully it was dry overhead and it made it a lot easier. Yeah, because after all the rain yesterday, I thought it was going to be slippy out there today, but it dried remarkably quick. Exactly, yeah, because we came here yesterday evening and I didn't even bother cycling because I said there's no point if it gets dry tomorrow, so yeah, I was out this morning and just kept her neat and tidy and made no mistakes and ended up a good result. Yeah, and like today it was about kind of keeping it tidy. There's a park event, but there's a lot there to catch you out. There is, yeah, and muck and everything pulled out from the other cars, like, so you just have to keep your nose clean and time's come after that. Yeah, and like, as the confidence back again, even what's 6 stages, do you feel the groove again coming in? Oh, absolutely, yeah. I just turned around the car after the first stage and just said it's good to be back. Like, it's nice. Even they've opened it up a wee bit more in the back, like it's a lot faster. So it's you kind of get the buzz of being on a stage, like, so it's good. Yeah, because it has that thing. It's not a track event. It's more than that, isn't it? All, yeah, there's a lot of driving in it, and there's a mixture of fast stuff and twisty stuff. So it's a real good rally. Yeah, and like this with it appetite, as you say, that you're back again. Is anything coming up now in the calendar, or just wait and see? Yeah, I'm an entry in for McKelly in 3 weeks' time. So very good. Looking forward to that. So thanks there to the top 3 from Loughgall, a great day sideways. So that's another episode of Crunching Gears, the Rally podcast. Until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.